Are able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
All right, perfect. Okay, so let's get started. So today, what we're going to cover, we will be starting with our integration topic, which is simple integration, and then we have the next integration topic, which is the core connector and the document transformation. Right. So we will be covering these two particular integration topics, and we will be also looking at the other integration tools, what are going to be there and how they're going to help us, right? So that is what exactly we're going to look at. And let me open my template for you. Give me one quick minute. Right. Thank you. So now
Yeah,
starting about the, yeah.
sorry, Abhishek. Yeah, let me point you to point out something to you. Yesterday you asked if we already cover simple report and advanced report.
Mhm.
Yeah, before we went to calculated field, I told you that we already discussed it.
Yeah.
You just discussed it with us, but we have not even done any hands-on on it. Simple reports and advanced reports, you just told us the mini definition, but we have not worked on tenants
Okay.
regarding.
So you mean to say that I have not presented the no, the real time in the tenant, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is why I confirmed with you guys. No problem. We will do that now, anyways. Right. So we
Okay.
anyways have the EIB. So along with that, we would be for the outbound EIB, we have to anyways create a report. So then I will be presenting the report as well.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me know. Because based on your confirmation, we have moved ahead to calculated fields. But anyways, good it is what it is now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so let's get started with the EIB. So the simple integrations is nothing but the called as EIB, guys. The EIB stands for Enterprise Interface Builder, right? Which actually allows the customer to perform, to perform a simple and secure integration, right? So when I'm saying a simple and secure integration, you can either connect with the third-party system, which is nothing but you can send the data to the third-party system, or you can receive the data, to your workday system, right? You have both the options. And whereas with the whole purpose of the EIB, you know, where without using any third party software, right, or hardware, right, to integrate with other customers, right? So this EIB will allow you to build your own integration within the tenant, right, according to the unique business process scenarios, right? And This particular EIB, what I'm saying, enterprise interface builder, it has the ability to connect, or it has ability for both inbound and outbound, which is like export and import, right? In the easy manner. So this EIB will help you to connect both inbound and outbound, guys, right? So the concept of this EIB is going to be very simple, right? In the integration system or in the within the workday, and this is one tool that is majorly being recommended by workday because it is easy to load, easy to you know connect with the third party systems, right, with the form of the template model. So all this this EIB has a defined template, okay, predefined template, and that is being delivered by workday, right? So now let's say I wanted to connect with the third party system, right? Or I have to send the data to the third party system, okay? So in order for me to send a data to the third party system, I have to reach out to the right business object, which we know this, right? But actually in the integration, we don't talk about this, but however, there is a persistent store, guys, which is nothing but our actual data centers in Workday, right? So this is managed by Workday. So in order for you to pull the data from the persistent store, object management system is the front layer, right, of the screen. So that is why we only talk about object management system. We don't talk about persistent store. And any data that you wanted to fetch from the object management system, either you have to create a report or you have to create a template, which is nothing but an XML template, guys. Okay, so the template that I'm talking about is in the form of, or in the format of, the XML, which is similar to the Excel sheet itself, where you'll open it in the Excel itself. But the template is a predefined template. My system will understand only based on the template language. It won't understand any other language. So let's say some XYZ vendor wanted to send some payroll inputs to my workday system, right? So if I wanted to load that particular data into workday, he need to give me the data in the form of my XML format. Or if I wanted to send the data, I have to send the data that will convert the data into XML and it will send that. Though I have an option with the custom report, still we will send the data in the form of an XML or CSV. Okay. So basically, even here also it's an object management. Okay. However, you would select the XML. In fact, I would call this, rather than calling it as template, we call it as web service, right? Web services. So each data is again categorized in the web services by category. If I say higher template, right, that is a higher web service, right? So again, each service is being each category is configured, right, into a web service, right? So now whatever the data that you're trying to transform, okay, that, or the what is, sorry, not the transformation, whatever the data you're trying to send it to the vendor, right, or you wanted to receive it, you should receive it in the form of the web service XML template, and it should be in the right format. And this is already defined by Workday. This is already delivered by Workday. So you will not really go and do anything in the template apart from filling the data. In fact, even the filling the data would be only followed by the HR. You are not an Excel person to do the Excel job. You would guide them how to do that, how to fill the template, but you will not fill the data, right? The data will be filled by the local HR, and you as a workday consultant will load the EIB for them. That's it, right? You will let them know if there are any errors. You will let them know if the EIB has been successfully processed, whether it is inbound or an outbound, or you'll tell them what corrections are needed, but you will not fill in the template. Okay, now let's go with the design pattern of this. Okay, so the design pattern of this particular VIB is that it has source, transformation, and target. Okay, now as I said, the source would be you have to select the right web service, which is nothing but the data source. You see that? The web service is also called as a data source. Okay, the XML file. And then we transform the data. This is actually not needed for EIB because you're going with a template model. All right, in core connector, we'll talk about the transformation, what is the purpose of it, and the target of it. Where exactly are you going to send it? Right? So what is the deliver or yeah, the deliver location? Okay, so you define that. It's very simple, guys. Okay, in terms of this three design pattern, right, it is very simple for us to create our EIB. Okay, so if you see the data source, it has an options like attachment, inbound. You can attach the file, or you can take the file from a particular server location and you can load it into the workday. Whereas in the outbound, I have workday custom report, rest based URL, and workday web service API. Right, these are the options that I have. And also transformation, it's like tweaking the data, guys. Okay, the word transformation means you're just manipulating the data. Okay, according to your need, you're manipulating the data, which is delivered. So that is the transformation. And transport protocol, as I said, either you will place the file in the server location, or you send it to their email address, right? Or as an attachment, you will place it in their server locations. Okay, so that is the easy method of, right, you either receiving the file or you sending the file to them, which is export and import. In workday we call it as inbound and the outbound, right? So talking about more about the web service, again, as I said, we deal with the workday web services, which is nothing but a template model. For EIB, we have to strictly go with the template. You would generate the template, the HR will fill in the template, and you would load it if it is the inbound. If it is the outbound, the customer will not do anything here. You as a workday consultant will create a report, advanced report, and you would send it to the person. Okay, so to send it to the particular group of people, basically, right? So again, the same thing what I was telling you now, right? Inbound and the outbound external system, right? This is what exactly I was talking to you about, the three easy steps to connect with the inbound, or two easy connect steps to send the data or to receive the data, right? So the web service is just a layer, which is a template in between for us to load any data, right? Now let's move on to the tenant. Give me 1 minute. So in order for me to create my own EIB, right, which is Enterprise Interface Builder, it is create EIB is a task which is available for me to create my own EIB, right? Create EIB and the name of it. So for integrations, guys, the same way how Workday recommended for calculated fields like CF and for supervisory organization code like SO, similarly for integrations, right? For you to identify it easily, Workday will always ask you to type in as INTSYS, integration system, right? And underscore. What integration is this? This is EIB, right? And what is this? I'll just take it as inbound for now, inbound, and then give the details. I will say this as hire, or let me say this as request bonus. Request compensation change. Yeah, compensation change. Right? Let me remove this underscores in the title. Yeah, and now inbound and click on OK. So for you to create an inbound, there are easy steps. General settings, get data, transform, deliver. That's it. There is no other more settings that you do, which is nothing but simply drag and drop options only, right? So now if you see in the general settings, it is just taking the name and the ID. ID will not be taking any spaces. It should be always without spaces. That is why it is clubbed together. Even though in the name I have given the spaces, it is clubbed together. But rather than that, I'll put an underscore in between so that it looks more clear for me. Compensation changes, right? A space will be allowed, sorry, underscore would be allowed, but not the spaces. Okay, let me give the comments, click on OK. That's it. In the general settings, there is nothing else. Then go to the get data. Now, since it is an attachment, sorry, since this is an inbound, are you going to attach the file, or do I have to pick it up from a server, which is like SFTP? Right, or is there a REST URL, like the way how we have discussed in yesterday in the reporting? Do we have something like a REST URL, right? So you would either go with an attached file at launch or Amazon Simple Storage Service, which is nothing but like your Google Drive, right? Or you will take it from a REST, with the URL, you'll pull the data, or SFTP. Okay, so I'll leave it as attached file at launch. Let's assume that they are going to send the file to me in in an email, and I have to load it. Okay, now scroll down. Either I can add one more delivery method, inbound method, or the retrieval method, right? Attach file at launch, or I can also take it from the server also. And now here is the point: data format, web service spreadsheet template, right? So here, these are all the predefined templates, guys. All that you have to do is choose the right web service operation, which is nothing but, since I said compensation changes, look for the template which is compensation changes. Request compensation changes will be the web service, right? So go with that particular web service. Okay. Now click on next. Now here the next is the transformation. So do you want to transform any particular data, any manipulating the data? Not really required for an inbound. Okay. Basically for EIB also it is not required. And the delivery method, it will be workday web service operation, because you are loading the data into inbound. If it is any other, then you will select anything else. But if it is inbound, it is only you're loading into workday. So that is why it will be always workday web service operation. But for the outbound, you will have many other options, like the same way how we are receiving the data, the retrieval method here, right? The get data. So similarly, it will be send data, which will be retrieval methods again. So not the retrieval, delivery methods this time, right? So click on next. That's it. You don't need to do any other settings here, and this is within workday itself, guys. Now click on OK. Okay. So now that when I clicked on OK, now that my integration is created, that's it. Now search for my compensation change. Let me search for my integration just here. Let me type it as compensation, INTSYS, comp changes. The reason, I'll tell you why I actually asked you guys to give the name as an EIB in the front, because when you search for it, you will not have this option. Okay, you'll not have this particular, whether it is an EIB or whether it is not an EIB, you will not be able to know it. So that is why the reason I have asked you guys to give this as EIB in the title itself, so it will be easy. Even if you create core connector also, it will show in the same way integration system. It won't let you know that what type of integration until and unless you open this, get into the detail of it, and then understand looking at the configuration, right? So now let me go with my integration system. This is my integration system, right? Now if I scroll down, so I have selected my transformation that is nothing but sorry, my get data, which is my request compensation change. Now where is the template? Now how can I generate the template? Go to the related action, scroll down, template model, generate spreadsheet template, right, which is nothing but our web service template. Go to the related action, template model, generate spreadsheet template, right, confirm and submit, right. See, the template is ready now. Now download this. Okay. Now open this in an Excel. Yes, open it. So this is what exactly the template, guys. Now, what do you see? You see an overview sheet tab. I opened it in Excel. Okay, overview and the request compensation change tab. Okay, now overview, let's say the processing. Let's talk about this. Manual processing means this will go through the all the business process steps. So if the request compensation change, there is a business process, and whatever the number of approvals you have, whatever the business process that is being configured, it goes through with all the steps. That is called as manual processing. But if I say automatic processing here, right, that will skip all the steps. Okay, that will skip all the business process steps, and it will just go ahead and load the data. Okay, so that is the automatic processing, and give the processing comments test. Okay, now go to the next tab. Now if you see, this is what exactly I always say, provide the information. This template needs to be filled by the HR. Okay, workday will give a separate training to the HR to create the template, or you would give a training to them to create a template. It's a very simple template, guys, right? All that is that, let's say there is a spreadsheet key, give it as 1, and the employee ID. Let me take one of the employee like Logan McNeil. Let's see what is the salary currently. Logan McNeil. Why Logan McNeil is not to be seen. All right, now she is. Right? Go to the compensation tab of Logan McNeil. Compensation. And there we go. Yeah. Just scroll down. Right? This is her particular salary. 213 is her salary. Now, let's firstly take her employee ID. What is her employee ID? Let's go with the employee ID. So always in this kind of situations, guys, okay, take the employee ID for the first thing. I'll tell you how to fill in this. And go with that position ID. Target the position ID so the system will understand that you're referring to this particular position, so that it will be easily for us to load it. So for the position ID, go to the related action of the position, integration ID, and view IDs. Right? If I go to this, I can see the position ID and fill in this particular position ID over here. Okay, now compensation required date, change date, right? Give it in only in this format, guys. See, they have provided a format, right? Give only in this particular format. Okay, now give the date as 2019 March. Let me say, what is the date today? Let me say it as 13th, right? Compensation change, yes or no? Yes, I want a compensation change, right? And the reason. So this is a particular reason. You see, I have to give the reason as benefits event subcategory, but rather than that, go with general event subcategory, because of this is a compensation change. You should go with the general event subcategory. Give me about 1 quick minute, guys. I'm just getting a call from my office. Give me 1 quick minute, please. Sorry. Right. Sorry and thank you guys. Right. So now the reason, right? For this, always you got to follow these two things, guys. Okay. There is a format. Okay. And there is a restrictions, whether it is required or whether it is an optional, it is mentioned here. You cannot skip the required fields. Okay. Optional, yes, you can skip it, but required fields, you cannot skip that. Okay. But again, in the optional, we will have some mandatory fields that we have to provide the information. Okay. Now, what happened to this? One moment. Tenant got stuck. Abhi, could you please refresh the tenant, please? Abhi, are you with me? Thank you. This one, thank you. And now I'm able to access it. Thanks, Abhi. Right. So let's go with the Excel. Now, as I said, the restrictions, this is the required field that is mandatory, right? The restrictions, you got to see what is the restriction, whether it is required or whether it is optional. But even some of the optional fields are also could be mandatory. So ensure that you're going through each and every field and see whether it is an optional or it is a required, and based on that you can go with it. And also look at the format. Wherever it is required, see the format also. See, currently I have given this format like this, but this is not acceptable. What you have to do, go to the go to the right click this format cells. I'm used to saying this related action. Go to custom and modify that year, month, sorry, and dd. Right? This is a format that is acceptable by my workday. Right? Change it. And visibility optional, not required, but reason is required. See that? So now how do I get the reason? So the reasons, there is view ref id, guys. Always, okay, always use this report. View reference id is a particular task which will help you to go with, look for the reasons. Now what is this reasons? Compensation reasons, just type in as reasons in the tenant. No, not this one. General category reasons. Yeah, general event category. Is it subcategory? What is this? General event subcategory. Okay, I have to go with general event subcategory. General event subcategory reasons. Yeah, these are the reasons. Now, if I scroll down, if you see, there is a compensation change also, there is a reason. So this is the reference ID value I have to give it, right? Worker new position, worker vacant, worker contingent worker new contract, adjust market, corrective adjustments, adjustments responsibility change, job change, adjustment ad hoc. Let's go with corrective adjustments, reference ID, and copy that. Right? So let's go to this Excel and provide this particular reason. Did I copy it only half? Adjustment. Adjustment. Right? Now that I have given this, now let's move on to the right side. Primary compensation basis not required. Compensation basis not required. Compensation grade not. Package ID optional, that's fine. Replace optional. Grade, pay plan, row ID, amount changes, salary, unit salary, allowances, unit allowance, bonus, merit plan, compensation plan data, compensation change, compensation stock plan. This is right. So the other information that I have to look at is I'm looking at the compensation changes. Now for me that is a plan changes. Okay. So go with the compensation package, compensation guidelines, ignore this and give the details here, right? So give this pay plan ID. What is this compensation pay plan ID? Again, type in here, go to the reference ID, type in here, compensation plan ID. So always it should be in this format. The plan ID will be also in this format. So let's see this. Your ref ID. Nice. All right. Compensation. Sorry. Compensation. Assignable plan. Assignable grade profile. Grade profile. Compensation plan. Right. Give this. And look for the plan ID. What is the plan ID? I'm looking for the salary plan. I wanted the salary plan amount to be changed. Where is my S letter? Or let's filter it here itself. Salary. Right. The other easiest thing is either you can look at here, or if you're not sure what salary plan that she is currently having, right? Anyways, it doesn't matter. We can change the complete plan itself. But anyways, to remod, just provide on the same plan. Logan McNeil. Let's go to Logan McNeil. And go to her compensation and see the plan ID here from here, right from here. Compensation tab. This is the plan ID. This is the plan ID here. Compensation plan. Okay. Similarly, the same thing goes with the allowance plans also. I'm just looking at the plan ID. And what is the salary currently? 213. All right, let's give it as 413 now. This is the salary plan, salary underscore salary plan, it seems. Very nice, right? And amount, right? And percent. What is this percentage change? There is how much percentage? Is it 50% change or 80% change? Anyways, number 80% change, right? Amount I have given, amount change from the current to here, it is 2 lakhs change. Right? So whatever you fill in, guys, it will again throw an error to you. Okay, whatever you fill in, it might throw an error. Let me remove this in those spaces. Currency ID. Now again the same thing. I need the currency ID. So what is the currency that she is in? USD, right? For USD, the integration ID might be different. Okay, go look for the integration ID of USD. I'm doing it right away from currently from here itself, but view reference ID will help you to know what is a currency ID. Currency underscore ID, it is USD only, right? USD. Frequency, it's okay. That will go defaulted, right? Just save it and try and load this. Okay. Inbound comp change. Okay. Save it. Overview, I've given it as automatic processing. Now let's go ahead and load this. Now look for the INTSYS. EIB. I should be able to find my integration. There we go. And go to the integration, launch and schedule. Either you can schedule this particular integration, right? So in what instances you schedule the EIB? Let's say you're loading the data, okay, to workday. Now the vendor has placed a file at one particular place. So you'll pick up the file from that particular place and the system will automatically load the data. Okay. Or you wanted to run it now, you can do that. Similarly, the same thing how we have seen it for the report scheduling also. It's similarly the same thing. Okay. Now click on OK and integration attachment. I said I'll attach the file at launch. So I'm attaching it now. Drop the file here, attach this file. There is my inbound comp change. You see that XML document? Attach this file, test, click on OK. Now there is very important thing, guys. Never load the data directly. Just don't click on OK. Do first in a validation mode. Okay, validation only. Go to the specific value and do it in the validation mode so that it won't get loaded. It will just confirm whether the template is correct or not, whether the data is correct or not. Then remove the validation mode and then load it. But for now, I'm just doing it in the validation mode to understand whether my template is correct or not. Right? So even in the real time, when the HR shares the template, you just load this in this way, but in the validation mode. If you directly load it and if there are errors, you can resend it, but again, that is a compliance issue. Don't get into such issues. Okay. See, there is a completed with one error. What is the error now? See, in the report validation, there is a report generated. Let's see that. What is this failure report? Let's see what is this failure report now. Okay. So validation error occurred, multiple elements content, including request compensation change date, event effective date, contain data where only one allowed by mutex. Contain data where only one is allowed by mutex, request compensation change date, D1 effective date, DTLD. Okay, let's look into this. Somewhere I have not given the effective date. I've given the compensation date. Okay. Employee visibility date, not required really. What is this error they're talking about? Request compensation change date. Okay. Compensation change date. This is the correct one. Right? Now, event effective date. Change date D1 event effective date LD. Contain data where only one is allowed by mutex request. Okay. Is there anywhere that I have to mention some of the fields? N and replace it and bonus plan, let it be there. See, this is what happens. This is why we don't get into the Excel work. This eats off a particular time. Right, so now let's look into one last thing here. The compensation date that we have given is correct. Even then, it was not going through. 3, 12, right? So we have given the date correctly now. Right, let me take one step back right from here. Relaunch integration. Yeah, delete this. That is the old file. Load it again. Let's see if this is again going to throw an error. So usually you always validate in this way. You ask them to correct based on the error, and you would guide them. You would actually guide them how to fill in the data again. Okay. And if still if it is throwing some errors, see there is again an error. Then there is somewhere there is an error which is not accepted by the workday template. So this is what happens, right? Give me 1 minute. It's again still the same date, but we have given the date correctly. Could be possibly the template issue, right? Or there is a template setting changes which you as a workday consultant will not be doing it. Okay, let me look into this tenant and see what error is this. So this is how we load the integration, the inbound integration, guys. Okay, and the data changes would be applied to this particular employee. Okay, so currently I've just taken a one employee, but we can take about, there is no limit. You can go ahead and you can do it even for the 2000 employees also. This is what we do at the time of merit, or at the time of performance appraisals. We do this process. Okay, any questions so far with regards to the inbound EIB? Any questions? Any questions, guys? All right,
Okay.
so, yeah, go ahead.
So in real time, when we work on this EIB thing, so we get that inbound template. I mean, if we are working on inbound, so we get that inbound template from client, or like we have to design it from our side.
You don't design, you generate the template. You
Yeah, but
generate
it's
the template.
structure like we are getting.
Yeah,
So like
go ahead.
what all data they are popping and all, like that
Oh,
information we are
you will
getting
just
from
share the
client, or like
template to them. No, you will, okay, all these details will be filled in by the client itself. You don't fill in all this. Client will fill in the
okay,
template,
okay.
and
So there's
you'll just load it and test whether the template is correct or not. If it is throwing an error in the validation mode, then you will send back the template to them saying that there are some errors, asking them to look back to it.
okay.
Yeah,
And like once we generate this template, we have to like give kind of KT to them, like, okay, I need this data and you find this data here. So that also we have to inform them, or like they will check from their side and populate it.
they will check it from their end. If somebody who is not really knowledgeable on that, then you have to guide them. Like the
Okay,
reference
thank you.
ID, mostly they will get an issues only with the reference ID, majorly.
Okay,
Right, so all right, so that's all I have for today, guys. And tomorrow what we do, we'll go through the outbound integration, how we're going to send the data to the third party system, right? And then we'll also see the reporting as well tomorrow, right? Reporting is again another important tool for you to retrieve the data or for you to read the data. Okay, so tomorrow we will cover that again, since you said it is not covered. So we'll again cover that. All right. So thank you so much for joining for today, guys, and have a nice time. Bye for now.
thank you.
Thank you.